Welcome to the Buddhist audiobook shelf. Today, we invite you to explore the profound teachings of the Dhammapada in our segment titled, Heedfulness A Path to a Happier and More Meaningful Life. Join us on this enlightening journey into the Buddha's wisdom. If you find value in these teachings, please support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps spread this timeless wisdom to others. You can also listen to us on YouTube podcasts with ease. Simply download the YouTube Music app and search for our channel, Buddhist Audiobook Shelf. One of the great benefits of listening through the music podcast is that it uses less battery and data, allowing you to listen while keeping the screen off. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to sharing more teachings with you. Introduction: Heedfulness A Path to a Happier and More Meaningful Life. In the whirlwind of modern life, filled with constant distractions, endless demands, and an unrelenting pace, the Buddha's timeless teaching on heedfulness offers clarity, solace, and a roadmap to peace. The verse from the Dhammapada: heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death. The heedful die not, the heedless are as if dead already, resonates deeply when viewed through the lens of contemporary challenges. It teaches us that how we live each moment, whether with awareness or in oblivion, shapes the quality of our lives and determines the depth of our happiness. This teaching is particularly relevant today, as heedlessness often dominates our culture. Many people find themselves rushing through life, chasing achievements, material goods, or fleeting pleasures without ever pausing to ask, what truly matters? This heedlessness manifests in stress, dissatisfaction, and a pervasive sense of meaninglessness. But there is an alternative. Heedfulness invites us to reclaim our lives by living with intention, awareness, and care. The struggle of heedlessness in modern times. Heedlessness is not merely neglect or laziness, it is living without mindfulness. In today's culture, heedlessness is amplified by technology, societal pressures, and the relentless pursuit of more. Social media, for instance, encourages a state of constant comparison, where we measure our worth against curated versions of others' lives. The endless notifications and updates demand our attention, pulling us away from meaningful engagement. Consider how much of our day is spent in a haze of distraction. From scrolling through apps to binge-watching shows, we fill every free moment with noise. This relentless consumption leaves us mentally exhausted yet emotionally unfulfilled. Instead of finding joy in our actions, we lose ourselves in autopilot, driven by habits and impulses. This heedlessness extends beyond individual habits to societal issues. Overconsumption strains the environment, short-term thinking fuels divisive politics, and the lack of deep reflection exacerbates inequality. Without mindfulness, these patterns become self-perpetuating, leaving individuals and communities struggling to find lasting peace. Heedfulness, the key to authentic living. Heedfulness is the antidote to this crisis. At its core, it is the practice of paying attention to our thoughts, words, and actions. It is about being fully present in each moment, aligning our intentions with our values, and taking responsibility for how we live. Heedfulness transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for growth and connection, making life more vibrant and meaningful. Imagine starting your morning with a few moments of silence, reflecting on what matters most to you. Instead of jumping into the chaos of emails or news, you ground yourself with an intention for the day. This small act of mindfulness sets the tone for everything that follows, helping you approach challenges with clarity and purpose. Heedfulness also means recognizing the impermanence of life. By acknowledging that time is finite, we prioritize what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and acts of kindness over trivial distractions. This perspective fosters gratitude, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. Practical applications of heedfulness in daily life. To make heedfulness a practical part of life, we can adopt simple yet profound practices that bring awareness to our daily routines. 1. Mindful breathing. Breathing is something we do unconsciously, yet it holds immense power to anchor us in the present. Take a few moments each day to focus on your breath. Notice its rhythm, depth, and flow. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breathing. This practice cultivates calm and clarity, especially during stressful moments. 2. Single tasking. In a world that glorifies multitasking, single tasking is a radical act of heedfulness. Whether you are eating, working, or conversing, give your full attention to the task at hand. For example, when eating a meal, savor each bite, noticing the flavors and textures. This not only enhances enjoyment but also fosters mindfulness in other areas of life. 3. Reflective journaling. At the end of the day, take a few minutes to reflect on your actions and thoughts. What moments brought joy? Where did heedlessness creep in? Writing down your reflections helps you identify patterns and set intentions for improvement. 4. Setting boundaries with technology. Heedfulness requires intentional engagement with technology. Designate specific times for checking emails or social media, and avoid mindless scrolling. By limiting distractions, you free up mental space for meaningful activities and connections. 5. Practicing gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. Each day, list 3 things you are thankful for. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to seek positivity, reducing stress and enhancing happiness. Heedfulness in relationships. Relationships thrive when nurtured with heedfulness. Often, conflicts arise not from malice but from misunderstanding or lack of attention. Heedlessness leads us to speak impulsively, interrupt others, or overlook their needs. To bring heedfulness into your relationships, start by practicing active listening. When someone speaks, focus entirely on their words and emotions. Resist the urge to formulate a response while they're talking. This simple act of presence shows respect and fosters deeper connection. In moments of conflict, heedfulness helps us pause and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting in anger. Instead of saying, "You never care about my feelings," try, "I felt hurt when this happened." This shift in language encourages understanding rather than defensiveness, paving the way for resolution. By cultivating heedfulness, relationships become sources of joy and support rather than stress. Whether with family, friends, or colleagues, being present transforms how we interact, deepening bonds and building trust. Heedfulness in the workplace. Workplaces often demand productivity at the cost of well-being. Heedlessness at work manifests as constant multitasking, burnout, and a disconnection from purpose. Heedfulness, however, empowers us to approach work with intention and balance. Start by prioritizing tasks. Instead of trying to do everything at once, focus on what truly matters. Use tools like to-do lists or time blocking to allocate your energy wisely. This not only enhances productivity but also reduces stress. Heedfulness also involves aligning your work with your values. Ask yourself, does my work contribute to something meaningful? If the answer is no, explore ways to bring purpose into your role, such as mentoring a colleague or improving a process. Even small acts can infuse your work with significance. Lastly, foster heedfulness in workplace interactions. Communicate clearly, listen actively, and show empathy toward coworkers. These practices create a positive environment where everyone feels valued and motivated. Heedfulness is a remedy for societal challenges. The impact of heedfulness extends beyond individuals to communities and the world at large. Many global challenges, from climate change to social injustice, stem from collective heedlessness, short-term thinking, greed, and indifference. Heedfulness inspires us to act responsibly and compassionately. For instance, by being mindful of our consumption, we reduce waste and support sustainable practices. By approaching societal issues with awareness, we engage in meaningful activism rather than reactive outrage. Imagine a world where governments, businesses, and individuals prioritize heedfulness. Policies would focus on long-term well-being rather than short-term gains. Communities would thrive on collaboration and mutual respect. This vision, though ambitious, begins with small actions taken by each of us. Living the deathless path. The ultimate promise of heedfulness is liberation from suffering. In Buddhist teachings, the deathless refers to nibbana, a state of freedom from the cycle of birth and death. While this may seem distant or abstract, its essence is deeply practical. To walk the path to the deathless is to live with intention and clarity, free from the grip of heedlessness. It is to find joy not in fleeting pleasures but in meaningful actions and authentic connections. It is to face life's challenges with resilience, knowing that each moment offers an opportunity for growth. Heedfulness does not promise a life without difficulties, but it transforms how we respond to them. By cultivating awareness, we navigate hardships with grace, finding peace even in adversity. This is the gift of heedfulness, a life lived fully, purposefully, and in harmony with oneself and the world. Understanding heedfulness. In today's fast-paced and interconnected world, our attention is pulled in countless directions at once. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with notifications, advertisements, and endless streams of information. The concept of heedfulness, while ancient in origin, offers a powerful antidote to this modern chaos. At its core, heedfulness means cultivating an attitude of careful attention and mindfulness toward our thoughts, actions, and the choices we make daily. It invites us to live with awareness and intentionality rather than being swept away by distractions or impulses. Heedfulness begins with understanding that every thought and action has consequences. This principle resonates deeply with contemporary concerns, such as managing stress, improving mental health, and building meaningful relationships. In a world where the average person spends hours scrolling through social media or reacting impulsively to external pressures, heedfulness offers a path to reclaiming control over our lives. To understand heedfulness more fully, let's consider its opposite, heedlessness. Heedlessness manifests as living on autopilot, making decisions without reflection, being driven by habits rather than intentions, or ignoring the impact of our actions on ourselves and others. Modern heedlessness is often fueled by technology, consumer culture, and the societal pressure to constantly do more. For instance, working late into the night to meet societal expectations of success, while neglecting rest and personal relationships, is a form of heedlessness. It disconnects us from what truly matters and leads to feelings of emptiness or burnout. To illustrate, imagine Sarah, a marketing professional in her early 30s. She starts her day by checking emails and scrolling through her phone even before getting out of bed. Her schedule is packed with back-to-back meetings, deadlines, and social commitments. By the end of the day, Sarah feels exhausted but can't pinpoint why she's dissatisfied despite being productive. The problem is that Sarah's actions are driven by external demands rather than her internal values. She is heedless of her own needs for rest, reflection, and genuine connection. Now let's contrast this with the practice of heedfulness. A heedful person approaches life with awareness. They make decisions consciously, taking into account their long-term well-being and the well-being of others. Heedfulness doesn't mean slowing down or avoiding ambition. Rather, it means aligning our actions with our values and cultivating a sense of purpose in all that we do. For instance, consider Tom, an entrepreneur juggling multiple responsibilities. Unlike Sarah, Tom starts his day with a simple mindful practice, spending 10 minutes reviewing his priorities and reminding himself of his larger goals. When faced with challenges, he takes a moment to pause and assess his response rather than reacting impulsively. By being heedful, Tom not only manages his tasks effectively but also maintains a sense of balance and satisfaction in his life. One practical way to begin cultivating heedfulness is to practice daily reflection. Set aside a few minutes each evening to ask yourself questions like, what were the most meaningful moments of my day? Did my actions align with my values and goals? What could I do differently tomorrow to feel more fulfilled? Such reflection helps us identify patterns of heedlessness and replace them with intentional habits. For example, if you realize you spent hours scrolling through social media but neglected quality time with loved ones, you might choose to set boundaries on screen time the next day. Another way to embrace heedfulness is by practicing mindful decision-making. In today's culture, where instant gratification is celebrated, making thoughtful choices can be challenging but transformative. Start with small decisions like choosing what to eat, how to spend your free time, or whether to respond to a message immediately. Pause and ask yourself, is this decision supporting my well-being and long-term goals? Over time, this habit of mindful questioning can extend to larger life choices, helping you create a life that feels aligned and purposeful. Heedfulness also plays a crucial role in relationships. In a world dominated by surface-level interactions and digital communication, being fully present with others is a rare gift. When you listen to someone with your full attention without interrupting, checking your phone, or planning your response, you demonstrate heedfulness. This presence fosters trust, understanding, and deeper connections. Take Maya, for example, who struggled to maintain a close bond with her teenage daughter, Emma. Their conversations often felt rushed and filled with misunderstandings. Inspired by the idea of heedfulness, Maya decided to change her approach. Each evening, she set aside 15 minutes to talk with Emma without distractions. She listened actively, asking open-ended questions and showing genuine interest in her daughter's thoughts and feelings. Over time, this simple act of heedfulness transformed their relationship, creating a space where Emma felt valued and heard. In the workplace, heedfulness can enhance productivity and reduce stress. Modern work culture often glorifies multitasking, but research shows that focusing on one task at a time leads to better outcomes and greater satisfaction. Start by practicing single tasking, giving your full attention to one task before moving on to the next. Additionally, take short breaks throughout the day to check in with yourself. Ask, am I working on what truly matters, or am I getting caught up in busy work? This practice not only boosts efficiency but also helps prevent burnout. Finally, heedfulness encourages us to be compassionate toward ourselves and others. Many of us live with a harsh inner critic, judging our actions and choices unkindly. Heedfulness invites us to replace this self-criticism with curiosity and understanding. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, reflect on what you can learn and how you can grow. This shift fosters resilience and a healthier mindset. Similarly, being heedful in our interactions with others means recognizing their humanity and treating them with kindness. In today's polarized society, this approach can help bridge divides and create a sense of community. For instance, when faced with someone who holds different opinions, instead of reacting defensively, take a moment to listen and seek common ground. This act of heedful communication can transform conflicts into opportunities for mutual understanding. In summary, heedfulness is not a lofty ideal reserved for monks or spiritual practitioners, it is a practical and transformative way of living that anyone can adopt. By paying attention to our thoughts, actions, and interactions, we can navigate life's complexities with greater clarity and purpose. Whether it's through daily reflection, mindful decision-making, or compassionate relationships, heedfulness empowers us to live a life that is not only productive but also deeply meaningful. The modern face of heedlessness. In today's world, heedlessness often manifests as a relentless rush through life, accompanied by constant distractions and an overwhelming sense of urgency. The rise of technology, the demands of modern work culture, and the pressures of societal expectations have created an environment where mindfulness is increasingly elusive. Heedlessness can subtly seep into every aspect of life, leaving individuals feeling drained, disconnected, and adrift. To regain control and live a fulfilling life, it is essential to understand how heedlessness shows up in modern contexts and to develop strategies to combat it. The trap of distractions. One of the most pervasive forms of heedlessness today is the addiction to distractions. Smartphones, social media, and streaming platforms have made it easier than ever to escape from reality. People often spend hours scrolling through endless feeds or binge-watching shows, all while neglecting responsibilities, relationships, and self-care. This constant barrage of information fragments attention and diminishes the capacity for deep thought or meaningful connections. Real-life application. To counteract this, adopt digital boundaries. Begin by setting specific times to check your devices, such as twice daily for emails, and limiting social media to 15 minutes per session. Use apps that track screen time to hold yourself accountable. Replace idle scrolling with intentional activities, like reading a book, journaling, or taking a walk. By consciously redirecting time toward enriching activities, you create space for mindfulness and clarity. The pursuit of materialism. Another significant form of heedlessness is the endless pursuit of material wealth and possessions. Modern culture often equates success with having more money, a bigger house, a luxury car. While financial stability is important, chasing materialistic goals without reflection can lead to dissatisfaction and stress. The thrill of acquiring something new fades quickly, often replaced by the desire for the next thing, creating an endless loop of striving without fulfillment. Real-life application. Practice gratitude to shift focus from scarcity to abundance. Each evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for, emphasizing experiences, relationships, or personal growth over material gains. Simplify your life by decluttering your space and donating items you no longer need. This not only brings a sense of order but also reduces the mental clutter that comes with excessive possessions. Overwork and burnout. In today's hustle culture, being busy is often glorified, while rest is undervalued. Many people equate their self-worth with productivity, leading to overwork and eventual burnout. This heedless chase for achievement can harm mental and physical health, strain relationships, and rob life of its joy. Real-life application. Reclaim balance by scheduling regular breaks and setting boundaries around work hours. Use the Pomodoro technique to focus intensely for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break to recharge. Commit to at least 1 day a week for rest and leisure, free from work obligations. During this time, engage in activities that nourish your soul, such as spending time with loved ones, pursuing a hobby, or practicing meditation. The impact on mental health. Heedlessness often contributes to heightened levels of anxiety and depression. Constantly living in the past or worrying about the future can create a cycle of stress and unhappiness. The inability to be present prevents individuals from fully experiencing life's moments, leaving them feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. Real-life application. Cultivate mindfulness to anchor yourself in the present moment. Start with a simple breathing exercise. Inhale deeply for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale for 4 counts. Repeat this process for a few minutes whenever you feel overwhelmed. Incorporate mindful activities into your daily routine, such as savoring your meals without distractions or focusing entirely on one task at a time. Heedlessness in relationships. In a world dominated by technology, genuine human connection often takes a backseat. Conversations are interrupted by phone notifications, and quality time is replaced by screen time. Heedlessness in relationships leads to misunderstandings, conflicts, and a sense of emotional distance. Real-life application. Foster presence in your relationships by practicing active listening. When someone is speaking, give them your full attention without planning your response or letting your mind wander. Schedule regular device-free times with loved ones, such as family dinners or walks. Express appreciation through small gestures, like a heartfelt note or an unexpected act of kindness. Escaping the cycle of heedlessness. Breaking free from heedlessness requires consistent effort and a commitment to living with greater awareness. It's not about perfection but progress, taking small, deliberate steps toward a more mindful life. By recognizing the signs of heedlessness and addressing them with actionable strategies, individuals can regain control, find peace, and cultivate a deeper sense of purpose. The first step is to acknowledge when you are operating on autopilot. Are you mindlessly scrolling through your phone? Are you saying yes to obligations out of habit rather than intention? Once you identify these patterns, you can replace them with conscious choices that align with your values and goals. Real-life application. Begin your journey with a daily mindfulness ritual. Each morning, take 5 minutes to set an intention for the day, such as, I will approach my work with focus, or, I will be fully present with my family. Reflect on this intention throughout the day and evaluate how well you honored it in the evening. Over time, this practice will help you live with greater purpose and clarity. In today's world, where distractions are omnipresent, cultivating heedfulness is not just a spiritual aspiration but a necessity for navigating the challenges of modern life. Heedfulness, the practice of maintaining awareness and attentiveness in thought and action, serves as a powerful antidote to the overwhelming noise and chaos of the 21st century. It enables individuals to regain control of their lives, make intentional decisions, and build a foundation for lasting happiness and fulfillment. One of the most significant obstacles to heedfulness today is the constant barrage of distractions from technology. Smartphones, social media, and streaming platforms demand our attention at every turn, fragmenting our focus and leading to a sense of perpetual busyness without meaningful accomplishment. These distractions often create a cycle of dopamine-driven gratification, leaving us craving more but never truly satisfied. Recognizing this cycle is the first step toward breaking free from heedlessness. To begin, it's essential to set boundaries with technology. Consider implementing practices like scheduled breaks from devices, turning off non-essential notifications, or creating tech-free zones at home. For instance, dedicating the first hour of your day to a technology-free routine can set a mindful tone for the hours ahead. Instead of reaching for your phone upon waking, engage in activities that ground you like stretching, journaling, or meditating. These practices help you connect with your intentions before the day's demands take over. Mindfulness techniques are invaluable tools for cultivating heedfulness in a distracted world. One simple yet profound method is mindful breathing. By pausing for a few minutes each day to focus on your breath, you can center your mind and restore a sense of calm. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed at work, step away from your tasks, close your eyes, and take 5 deep breaths, paying attention to the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. This small practice can reset your focus and help you approach challenges with clarity. Another effective strategy is mindful journaling. Each evening, take 5 minutes to reflect on your day by answering questions such as, what moments brought me joy today? Or, did I act with intention in my interactions? This exercise not only strengthens your self-awareness but also helps you identify patterns of heedlessness, allowing you to address them constructively. Over time, this habit cultivates a deeper connection to your values and priorities. Modern life often conditions us to multitask in the name of productivity, but research shows that multitasking diminishes our effectiveness and increases stress. Instead of juggling multiple tasks, practice single tasking, devoting your full attention to one activity at a time. For example, when eating a meal, resist the urge to scroll through your phone or watch TV. Instead, focus on the flavors, textures, and aromas of your food. This practice not only enhances your enjoyment but also fosters gratitude for the nourishment you receive. Heedfulness is also crucial in how we navigate interpersonal relationships. In today's hyper-connected yet often superficial social environment, genuine connection requires conscious effort. Practicing active listening is one way to bring heedfulness into your interactions. When someone speaks to you, give them your undivided attention, making eye contact and resisting the urge to think about your response before they finish. Simple affirmations like nodding or paraphrasing what they've said demonstrate that you value their perspective. For instance, consider how often conversations devolve into parallel monologues, where each person is merely waiting for their turn to speak. By practicing active listening, you transform these exchanges into meaningful dialogues. This not only strengthens your relationships but also fosters a sense of mutual respect and understanding, reducing misunderstandings and conflicts. In the context of work and ambition, heedfulness can counter the relentless drive for achievement that characterizes much of contemporary culture. While striving for success is not inherently problematic, it can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction when pursued heedlessly. Heedfulness encourages a balanced approach to ambition, one that aligns your professional goals with your personal values. Start by identifying what truly matters to you in your career. Are you motivated by creativity, impact, financial stability, or growth opportunities? Once you clarify your priorities, evaluate whether your current trajectory aligns with these values. For example, if you value creativity but find yourself in a role that stifles innovation, heedfulness might prompt you to seek opportunities that better suit your aspirations. Heedfulness also involves setting realistic expectations and recognizing the limits of your energy. Embrace the practice of saying no to commitments that do not align with your goals or values, freeing up time and energy for pursuits that genuinely matter. For instance, if you're asked to take on an additional project at work but already feel stretched thin, a heedful response might be to decline respectfully, explaining your need to focus on existing priorities. Incorporating pauses into your daily routine is another practical way to cultivate heedfulness. These pauses serve as moments of reflection, allowing you to check in with yourself and recalibrate your focus. Consider integrating short mindfulness breaks into your schedule, perhaps pausing for 2 minutes every hour to breathe deeply, stretch, or simply observe your surroundings. These brief interruptions can prevent you from falling into autopilot mode, helping you remain present and intentional throughout the day. Moreover, practicing gratitude is a powerful way to anchor heedfulness in daily life. By regularly acknowledging the positive aspects of your life, you shift your attention away from what's lacking and toward what's fulfilling. Keep a gratitude journal where you jot down 3 things you're thankful for each day. These could be as simple as a kind word from a colleague, the warmth of sunlight, or a moment of laughter with a friend. Gratitude not only cultivates contentment but also reinforces the habit of noticing and appreciating the present moment. Lastly, it's important to approach the journey of cultivating heedfulness with patience and self-compassion. Transformation takes time, and setbacks are a natural part of the process. When you find yourself slipping into heedlessness, resist the urge to criticize yourself harshly. Instead, gently redirect your attention to the present moment and recommit to your intentions. In a world that often pulls us in countless directions, heedfulness offers a pathway to reclaiming our agency and living with purpose. By embracing mindful practices, setting clear boundaries, and fostering meaningful connections, we can navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. This way of living not only brings peace and fulfillment but also aligns us with the timeless wisdom of the Dhammapada, reminding us of the transformative power of awareness and attentiveness. Heedfulness in relationships. In today's world, relationships are often challenged by constant distractions, unintentional neglect, and a lack of meaningful communication. Technology connects us to people worldwide, yet it often distances us from those right in front of us. To build fulfilling relationships, we must approach them with heedfulness, which calls for presence, intention, and attentiveness in every interaction. 1. Listening with presence. Listening is more than hearing words, it's about truly understanding the emotions, context, and intentions behind those words. Too often, conversations are dominated by multitasking or preparing our response before the other person finishes speaking. This heedless approach leaves our partners, friends, or colleagues feeling unheard, unseen, and undervalued. Heedful listening requires us to be fully present, put away your phone, stop checking emails, and focus entirely on the person speaking. Acknowledge feelings. When someone shares, affirm their emotions with responses like, "I can see why you'd feel that way," or, "That sounds challenging." Practice reflective listening. Repeat or summarize what the other person has said to ensure you've understood them correctly. For instance, consider a parent speaking to their child about school challenges. A heedless parent might dismiss the concerns with generic advice, while a heedful parent listens actively, empathizes with their child's struggles, and explores solutions collaboratively. This simple act of attentive listening fosters trust and strengthens bonds. 2. Responding with intention and care. Communication often becomes reactive rather than intentional. When we're tired, stressed, or frustrated, we may respond heedlessly with harsh words or dismissive attitudes. Such interactions can damage relationships over time. Instead, heedfulness encourages us to pause before reacting. Take a deep breath to assess your emotional state and the impact of your response. Choose your words wisely. Speak in a way that conveys respect and compassion, even during disagreements. Validate others' perspectives. Acknowledge differing opinions without immediately trying to change or invalidate them. For example, in a workplace setting, a colleague may make a mistake that affects your project. Reacting heedlessly with blame could escalate tensions. Responding with heedfulness by addressing the mistake calmly and discussing preventive measures creates a constructive environment and fosters collaboration. 3. Avoiding heedless communication. Heedless communication manifests as gossip, impulsive words, or neglectful silence. Gossip can breed mistrust, impulsive words can cause lasting harm, and silence can make others feel insignificant. Heedfulness helps us replace these habits with conscious choices. Refrain from gossip. If tempted to discuss someone else, ask yourself, is this kind, true, and necessary? Think before speaking. Before responding in anger or frustration, consider whether your words will improve the situation or exacerbate it. Reach out intentionally. If a friend or family member seems distant, take the initiative to connect meaningfully rather than assuming they'll reach out first. Real-life example. Imagine a group of friends discussing a mutual acquaintance's personal struggles. A heedful person might steer the conversation away from gossip and suggest offering help or support instead. This creates an atmosphere of kindness and integrity. 4. Building deeper connections through awareness. Relationships flourish when nurtured with awareness and intentionality. This involves recognizing the unique needs, desires, and boundaries of each relationship and responding to them with care. To cultivate deeper connections, try these practices. Schedule uninterrupted time together. Whether it's a weekly date night, family dinner, or coffee with a friend, dedicate time solely to that person. Express appreciation regularly. Simple words of gratitude like, "I appreciate you," or, "Thank you for being here for me," can strengthen bonds. Learn each other's love languages. Understanding how your loved ones prefer to receive affection, be it words, acts, or quality time, allows you to connect on a deeper level. Consider a couple navigating the pressures of modern life. One partner feels neglected because the other is preoccupied with work. A heedful response would be to schedule dedicated time for connection, openly discuss feelings, and explore ways to support each other's needs. These small, consistent efforts can revitalize the relationship. 5. Addressing conflicts with heedfulness. Conflict is inevitable, but how we handle it determines whether relationships grow stronger or fall apart. Heedlessness in conflict often leads to defensiveness, blame, or withdrawal. In contrast, heedfulness fosters resolution and understanding. Key strategies include: stay calm and centered. Avoid letting emotions control your reactions. Techniques like deep breathing or counting to 10 can help. Focus on the issue, not the person. Use I statements, such as, "I feel upset when," instead of blaming phrases like, "you always." Seek to understand. Before defending your perspective, ask questions to clarify the other person's viewpoint. For example, a heedless argument between roommates about household chores might escalate into personal attacks. A heedful discussion would instead involve calmly expressing concerns, clarifying expectations, and collaboratively finding solutions. 6. Practicing forgiveness. Holding on to grudges is a form of heedlessness that poisons relationships and inner peace. Forgiveness, while challenging, is a powerful act of heedfulness that frees us from resentment and fosters reconciliation. To practice forgiveness, acknowledge your hurt. Be honest with yourself about your emotions and the impact of the other person's actions. Separate the person from the action. Recognize that people make mistakes and are not defined by them. Release expectations. Let go of the need for an apology or restitution as a condition for forgiveness. Imagine a friend who let you down during a difficult time. Instead of harboring resentment, a heedful approach would involve reflecting on the situation, expressing your feelings if appropriate, and ultimately choosing to forgive for your own peace of mind. 7. Cultivating self-compassion. Lastly, being heedful in relationships starts with being kind to yourself. When we neglect our own well-being, it's difficult to show up fully for others. Heedful self-compassion involves acknowledging your needs. Regularly assess whether you're getting enough rest, nourishment, and emotional support. Setting healthy boundaries. Learn to say no to commitments that overextend you or drain your energy. Practicing self-care. Engage in activities that replenish your mind, body, and spirit. For instance, a busy professional juggling work and family might neglect their own needs to meet others' demands. A heedful adjustment would involve carving out time for personal hobbies or relaxation, which ultimately enables them to contribute more meaningfully to their relationships. In today's fast-paced world, work and ambition often dominate our lives, creating a delicate balance between productivity and personal well-being. Heedfulness and intentional awareness of our actions, choices, and priorities offers a powerful tool to navigate these challenges and lead a more meaningful and fulfilling life. To live with intention and focus in our professional and personal pursuits, we must learn to align our ambitions with our core values, manage distractions, and nurture a sense of balance. The workplace today is a source of both opportunity and stress. On one hand, it provides financial stability, personal growth, and a sense of purpose. On the other, it can foster exhaustion, overwhelm, and even disconnection from what truly matters. Heedfulness invites us to step back and assess how we approach our work and ambitions. Are we working mindlessly, caught in the cycle of deadlines and tasks? Or are we pursuing our goals with clarity and purpose? The first step in bringing heedfulness to our work is understanding our why. Why do we do what we do? For many, the answer lies in providing for loved ones, achieving personal milestones, or contributing to society. However, these reasons can become obscured by the daily grind, leaving us feeling lost or unfulfilled. By revisiting and reconnecting with our motivations, we can ensure our efforts are aligned with our deeper values. Take time regularly to ask yourself, is my work helping me grow? Does it serve a purpose beyond the paycheck? Am I proud of how I'm spending my energy and time? A common barrier to heedfulness at work is the overwhelming number of distractions we face. Emails, notifications, and multitasking can create a false sense of productivity while leaving us mentally drained. Cultivating focus is essential to mindful work. One practical approach is the Pomodoro technique, which involves working in focused intervals, typically 25 minutes, followed by a short break. This method not only improves concentration but also allows time for rest and reflection, ensuring a sustainable pace. Additionally, setting clear boundaries is a vital practice in maintaining heedfulness. In today's culture of constant connectivity, it's easy to blur the lines between work and personal life. Heedfulness encourages us to establish limits that protect our time and energy. This might involve setting no work hours in the evening, turning off notifications during meals, or creating a dedicated workspace at home. These boundaries help us remain present in each moment, whether at work or with loved ones, and reduce the risk of burnout. Ambition is another area where heedfulness can provide much-needed clarity. While ambition drives us to achieve and innovate, unchecked ambition can lead to dissatisfaction and stress. The key lies in channeling ambition mindfully, setting goals that are meaningful rather than superficial. Instead of chasing external markers of success, such as titles or material possessions, we can focus on goals that reflect our personal values. For instance, striving to create a positive impact in our community or pursuing a career path that aligns with our passions can bring deeper satisfaction. To ground our ambitions in heedfulness, it's helpful to practice visualization. Start by imagining your ideal life a decade from now. What does a typical day look like? Who are you surrounded by? How do you spend your time? This exercise can illuminate what truly matters to you, guiding your decisions and priorities. Once you've identified these long-term aspirations, break them into smaller, actionable steps. For example, if your vision includes greater financial independence, consider creating a budget, saving consistently, or learning new skills to increase your earning potential. Heedfulness also teaches us to embrace setbacks as part of the journey. In today's achievement-oriented culture, failure is often seen as something to avoid at all costs. However, each setback offers valuable lessons that can guide us toward growth. When we approach failures with awareness, we can analyze what went wrong, adjust our course, and emerge stronger. Heedfulness helps us let go of self-judgment and remain focused on the present, preventing the paralysis of fear or regret. Real-life stories of individuals who have embraced heedfulness in their ambitions illustrate its transformative power. Consider the example of Anna, a graphic designer who felt unfulfilled despite landing her dream job. After reflecting on her values, Anna realized her passion lay in environmental advocacy. By setting aside time to volunteer for a local nonprofit, she found a sense of purpose that energized her work. Over time, Anna merged her skills and passion by starting a design firm focused on sustainable branding, creating a career that aligned with her ideals. Such stories highlight the importance of aligning ambition with heedfulness. Whether your aspirations involve professional success, creative expression, or personal growth, the principles of heedfulness remain constant. Act with awareness, stay true to your values, and maintain balance. Lastly, heedfulness reminds us to celebrate the journey, not just the destination. In the pursuit of our goals, it's easy to fixate on the next milestone, neglecting the joys of the present moment. By practicing gratitude for each small achievement, we cultivate a sense of contentment that enriches our lives. For instance, instead of waiting for a promotion to feel accomplished, take pride in the skills you've honed or the relationships you've built at work. Gratitude anchors us in the now, fostering resilience and optimism. In today's culture, where work and ambition often overshadow well-being, heedfulness serves as a compass, helping us navigate the complexities of modern life. By staying mindful of our choices and priorities, we can transform our work into a source of joy and meaning, rather than stress and exhaustion. Through practical applications such as setting boundaries, embracing setbacks, and aligning goals with values, heedfulness empowers us to live with intention and purpose. In doing so, we not only achieve our ambitions but also find peace and fulfillment along the way. Heedfulness is often seen as a timeless spiritual practice, but its relevance today is even more crucial as we navigate a fast-paced, hyper-connected world. In the Buddhist teachings, heedfulness is the path to the deathless freedom from suffering, rebirth, and the constant cycles of stress and dissatisfaction. The modern world, with all its distractions, demands of us a greater degree of attention to live a life of peace, contentment, and purpose. In a society where we are constantly bombarded by notifications, advertisements, and the pressure to do more, heedfulness becomes not just a spiritual practice but a practical necessity. Living heedfully is about being fully present, aware of each moment, and making conscious choices that align with our deepest values. It is not simply about avoiding distractions, but about cultivating a life that feels meaningful, intentional, and connected. In a culture that often prioritizes external achievement over inner peace, heedfulness can serve as the anchor that keeps us grounded, content, and able to navigate the complexities of modern life with clarity and calm. Understanding heedfulness. Heedfulness is the opposite of heedlessness. It is the quality of being fully awake, aware, and intentional in our actions, thoughts, and decisions. In a modern context, heedfulness means resisting the pull of distractions, taking control of our focus, and ensuring that we are not swept away by the noise of society or our own impulsive desires. It is not about perfection, but about living with greater awareness and purpose. In today's world, where stress and anxiety are widespread, heedfulness offers a way to cope with these challenges. It is a way of dealing with the overwhelm that often comes from trying to juggle too many things, the constant pressure to succeed, and the struggle to maintain relationships and personal well-being. Heedfulness teaches us how to slow down, pay attention to what matters, and make choices that promote our long-term happiness rather than succumbing to short-term pleasures or external pressures. This practice is not about retreating from the world, but about engaging with it in a more mindful and intentional way. Whether it is in our relationships, work, or daily routines, heedfulness can help us to live more harmoniously with ourselves and others. By paying attention to our thoughts and actions, we begin to notice how we react to the world around us, and through this awareness, we can begin to choose responses that promote peace, compassion, and understanding. The impact of heedlessness in modern life. In our modern, fast-paced society, heedlessness is rampant. We live in a world where everything is designed to demand our attention. Social media apps, streaming services, and advertisements are all carefully crafted to capture our focus and keep us hooked. With so many distractions, it is easy to forget to be present in our own lives. We become disconnected from our emotions, our values, and even from the people around us. The constant rush to stay on top of our to-do lists, answer emails, and keep up with the latest trends often leaves us feeling exhausted, unfulfilled, and disconnected from what truly matters. This heedlessness comes at a cost. We are increasingly disconnected from the present moment and from the deeper aspects of life that give it meaning. This disconnect is often the root cause of stress, anxiety, and burnout. We may find ourselves running on autopilot, moving from task to task without truly experiencing or appreciating what is happening around us. Our minds become cluttered, and our actions become automatic, driven by external pressures rather than internal wisdom. Heedlessness can also negatively affect our relationships. When we are distracted, we may fail to truly listen to others, to be present with them, or to understand their needs. This lack of attention can lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and emotional distance. In the workplace, heedlessness can manifest as poor communication, lack of focus, and a failure to prioritize what is truly important. These small but significant lapses in attention can accumulate over time, leading to dissatisfaction and a sense of unfulfillment. Heedfulness in the face of stress and overwhelm. Today, many people feel overwhelmed by the demands of modern life. Balancing work, family, and personal goals can seem like an impossible task. However, heedfulness provides a powerful antidote to stress and overwhelm. By cultivating greater awareness of our thoughts and actions, we can begin to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. One of the first steps in cultivating heedfulness is learning to slow down. When we are constantly rushing from one thing to the next, we lose sight of what truly matters. Taking time to pause, breathe, and check in with ourselves can help us regain a sense of clarity and focus. Mindful breathing, for example, is a simple yet powerful tool that can ground us in the present moment and calm the mind. By focusing on our breath, we create space between our thoughts and reactions, allowing us to respond to challenges with greater composure. Another key aspect of heedfulness is learning to prioritize. In a world where we are constantly told we can have it all, it can be tempting to say yes to everything. However, heedfulness teaches us that we must be discerning about where we direct our energy. By identifying our core values and goals, we can make decisions that align with our deepest priorities. This might mean saying no to certain commitments, letting go of unrealistic expectations, or simplifying our routines to focus on what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. Heedfulness also helps us cope with the emotions that arise during stressful situations. When we are heedless, we may react impulsively or allow negative emotions to take control. By practicing mindful awareness, we can notice our emotional reactions without being overwhelmed by them. This allows us to respond with greater equanimity, making choices that reflect our values rather than being driven by fear, frustration, or anxiety. Heedfulness in relationships. One of the most powerful ways heedfulness can improve our lives is through its impact on our relationships. In today's world, where many of us are often distracted by technology, work, and other commitments, it can be difficult to give our full attention to the people we care about. However, heedfulness teaches us the importance of truly being present with others, of listening without judgment, and of responding with compassion and understanding. When we are heedful in our relationships, we show up with a deep sense of respect for the other person. We are not just physically present, but mentally and emotionally engaged. This allows us to build stronger, more meaningful connections with others. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, being fully present with someone creates a sense of intimacy and trust. People feel seen, heard, and valued when we give them our full attention. In practical terms, this means putting down our phones when we are with others, making eye contact, and actively listening. It means taking the time to check in with loved ones, to ask how they are doing, and to truly listen to their responses. By practicing heedfulness in our relationships, we create an environment of mutual respect and understanding, which fosters deeper, more fulfilling connections. Heedfulness in work and daily life. In the workplace, heedfulness can have a profound impact on productivity and satisfaction. In a society that often values hustle and constant productivity, heedfulness offers a way to work more efficiently and with greater clarity. When we are heedful in our work, we focus on one task at a time, giving it our full attention. This allows us to produce higher quality work and reduces the stress of juggling multiple tasks at once. Heedfulness also helps us avoid burnout. By being aware of our limits and recognizing when we need rest, we can prevent the negative consequences of overworking. It teaches us to be kind to ourselves, to acknowledge when we are tired or overwhelmed, and to take steps to replenish our energy. This might mean taking breaks, setting boundaries around work hours, or prioritizing self-care. In daily life, heedfulness can be applied to everything from eating to exercising to managing finances. By being fully present in each activity, we are able to engage more deeply and derive more satisfaction from it. Mindful eating, for example, involves paying attention to the taste, texture, and aroma of our food, allowing us to enjoy it more fully and make healthier choices. Similarly, mindful movement, whether through yoga, walking, or other forms of exercise, helps us connect with our bodies and cultivate a sense of well-being. Applying heedfulness to the bigger picture. Heedfulness is not just about our personal lives, it can also help us navigate the challenges facing society today. As we become more aware of our interconnectedness, we begin to recognize how our actions affect the world around us. Heedfulness encourages us to act with kindness, compassion, and awareness, not just for our own well-being, but for the collective good. By living heedfully, we contribute to a more compassionate and mindful society. Whether through supporting causes we care about, engaging in thoughtful dialogue, or making sustainable choices, heedfulness allows us to be more conscious of our impact on others and the environment. It is a practice that promotes not just personal peace, but social harmony. In a world where distractions, stress, and disconnection are prevalent, heedfulness offers a way back to a more meaningful and peaceful life. By cultivating awareness in each moment, we can navigate the complexities of modern life with greater ease and clarity. The path to the deathless, to freedom from suffering and discontent, is open to all who choose to walk it with attention, intention, and care. Heedfulness is the gateway to peace. In today's world, where distractions are constant and the pace of life accelerates, achieving peace of mind can feel like an elusive goal. The Dhammapada's teaching that heedfulness is the path to the deathless speaks to the importance of mindfulness, awareness, and conscious living. In our modern society, this ancient wisdom can serve as a beacon of light, guiding us through the noise and chaos toward inner peace and contentment. Heedfulness is the act of being fully present in the moment, paying attention to our thoughts, words, and actions with care and intention. It is the opposite of heedlessness, which involves living on autopilot, reacting impulsively, and drifting through life without awareness of our choices and their consequences. Heedfulness brings awareness to every aspect of our daily existence, grounding us in the present moment and allowing us to live with greater purpose. In the context of our fast-paced, interconnected world, where social media notifications, work pressures, and the constant pull of consumerism distract us, heedfulness can seem like a distant dream. Yet, it is precisely in this environment that heedfulness can have the greatest impact. By cultivating awareness and mindfulness, we can find peace amidst the noise, regain control of our lives, and create more meaningful connections with ourselves and others. One of the most profound benefits of heedfulness is its ability to foster peace. When we are heedful, we are not swept away by the turbulence of our emotions or external circumstances. Instead, we learn to observe our thoughts and reactions with equanimity, allowing us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This creates a sense of calm, even in the midst of challenging situations. Consider the example of a busy professional who feels overwhelmed by the demands of their job. In a heedless state, this person might react to stress by becoming increasingly anxious, working longer hours, or lashing out at colleagues. Their mind becomes consumed by worry, and their actions are driven by the need to keep up with the fast pace of work. However, if this person were to practice heedfulness, they could approach the situation differently. By taking a step back and becoming aware of their feelings of stress, they could choose to respond with calmness and clarity. They might decide to take a break, go for a walk, or practice mindful breathing to center themselves. Through this practice, they would create space for peace and regain a sense of balance, rather than being swept away by the pressures of their work environment. This example highlights how heedfulness allows us to make conscious choices, rather than being at the mercy of our circumstances. It empowers us to take control of our reactions and find peace, even in the most difficult situations. In our everyday lives, the ability to respond rather than react is crucial to maintaining mental and emotional well-being. The more we practice heedfulness, the more we train our minds to remain steady and peaceful, regardless of what is happening around us. Moreover, heedfulness helps us create deeper and more meaningful relationships with others. In our fast-paced world, it is easy to fall into the trap of distracted communication, where we are physically present with others but mentally elsewhere. We might check our phones while talking to a friend, or our attention might wander during a conversation with a partner. This type of heedlessness can lead to misunderstandings, conflict, and a sense of disconnection. In contrast, when we practice heedfulness in our interactions, we are fully present and engaged with the person in front of us. We listen deeply, respond thoughtfully, and show genuine care for the other person's needs and feelings. This kind of mindful communication strengthens relationships, fosters trust, and creates a sense of connection that is often lacking in today's superficial interactions. For instance, imagine a family dinner where everyone is distracted by their phones, scrolling through social media or texting. The conversation becomes fragmented, and the opportunity for meaningful connection is lost. Now, picture the same dinner where everyone practices heedfulness, putting down their phones, engaging with one another, and being fully present in the moment. The energy in the room shifts. People feel seen and heard, and the atmosphere becomes one of warmth and connection. This is the power of heedfulness in our relationships. In addition to fostering peace and connection, heedfulness is also a powerful tool for self-awareness and personal growth. When we are heedful, we become more attuned to our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, and habits. We begin to notice the patterns in our thinking and behavior that may be holding us back from living a fulfilling life. This awareness allows us to make intentional changes, replace unhelpful habits with positive ones, and cultivate a deeper sense of self-understanding. For example, consider someone who is struggling with negative self-talk. They might constantly criticize themselves for not being good enough, smart enough, or successful enough. These thoughts are automatic and often go unnoticed, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. However, by practicing heedfulness, this person can begin to notice when these negative thoughts arise. They can observe them without judgment and choose to let them go, replacing them with more compassionate and affirming thoughts. Over time, this practice of self-awareness can lead to a significant shift in their mindset, promoting greater self-esteem and a more positive outlook on life. Heedfulness also helps us cope with the challenges of modern life by allowing us to respond to stress and adversity with greater resilience. In a world that often feels uncertain and unpredictable, it can be easy to become overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, and worry about the future. However, when we cultivate heedfulness, we learn to approach challenges with a clear and calm mind, rather than being consumed by our fears. For instance, consider the uncertainty brought about by the global pandemic. Many people experienced heightened anxiety and stress as they faced job losses, health concerns, and social isolation. In the face of these challenges, heedfulness offered a way to navigate the storm. By staying present and mindful, people were able to focus on what they could control, such as their health, their relationships, and their responses to difficult situations. Rather than succumbing to fear, they embraced the moment and found peace in the midst of uncertainty. This kind of resilience is not limited to extreme events like a pandemic, it can be applied to everyday challenges as well. Whether we are facing a difficult project at work, a personal conflict, or a setback in our personal goals, heedfulness allows us to respond with wisdom and clarity. By remaining present and aware, we can make thoughtful decisions, stay grounded, and maintain our sense of peace. The practice of heedfulness can be woven into every aspect of our daily lives, from the way we approach our work and relationships to the way we care for our bodies and minds. It is about choosing to live intentionally, rather than reacting to life as it comes. This sense of purpose and awareness is what ultimately brings peace into our lives. In real-life terms, incorporating heedfulness into our routine can be as simple as taking a few moments each day to check in with ourselves. Starting the day with a moment of mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply pausing to reflect, can set a positive tone for the rest of the day. Throughout the day, we can practice heedfulness by slowing down, focusing on one task at a time, and being fully present in our interactions with others. In the evening, a mindful reflection on the day can help us process our experiences and cultivate gratitude. Heedfulness is not a one-time fix but a continuous practice that deepens over time. It is the small, conscious choices we make every day that shape our lives and determine our peace of mind. By choosing to live with awareness, we can break free from the cycle of stress and distraction, and instead create a life filled with peace, purpose, and joy. This is the true path to the deathless, the ultimate freedom from suffering and the realization of lasting peace. Building communities of awareness. In today's world, we often find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of distractions. The pace of life has accelerated. Technology, social media, work pressures, and endless streams of information make it harder than ever to stay present. Despite these challenges, there is a way forward, a path toward peace, purpose, and deeper connection with others: heedfulness. In this age of constant noise, we must learn not only to cultivate personal awareness but also to foster it in our communities. Living mindfully can profoundly shift how we engage with the world. As individuals become more aware of their thoughts, actions, and the impact they have on others, communities can start to flourish in meaningful, transformative ways. The practice of heedfulness, rooted in the teachings of the Buddha, offers a practical roadmap to navigate life with greater clarity, kindness, and resilience. The power of personal heedfulness. Before we dive into how to build communities of awareness, it's crucial to understand the role of personal heedfulness. In a society that increasingly values speed, achievement, and external validation, cultivating a mindful, present-centered approach can be challenging but deeply rewarding. At its core, heedfulness is about being aware of the present moment and making conscious choices aligned with our values and goals. It's an antidote to heedlessness, which is often seen in the distractions, mindlessness, and impulsive behavior so common today. When we are heedful, we are not swayed by distractions or reactions, but act with intention and compassion. This personal awareness, when practiced regularly, extends beyond the individual and affects the community as a whole. Heedfulness doesn't require us to retreat from society or abandon our modern tools. Instead, it empowers us to use them more mindfully, directing our energies toward what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and contributing positively to the collective. The ripple effect of heedfulness. As we cultivate mindfulness in our own lives, the impact extends outward, creating a ripple effect that can influence others around us. Just as a single pebble thrown into a pond sends ripples across the water, each act of heedfulness can positively affect families, workplaces, and even larger communities. Consider, for example, the impact of mindful parenting. In a society where parenting can often feel like a race against time, where children's schedules are packed with extracurricular activities and parents are stretched thin, being present for our children is a powerful act of heedfulness. When we listen attentively to our children, guide them with patience, and model emotional regulation, we teach them to do the same. Over time, this nurtures emotionally intelligent, mindful individuals who contribute positively to society. In the workplace, heedfulness can be equally transformative. Think about the difference between a manager who leads with mindfulness and a manager who is constantly distracted and reactive. A mindful leader is present with their team, listens deeply to concerns, and fosters a culture of respect and collaboration. This creates an environment where employees feel valued, motivated, and empowered. In contrast, a heedless workplace leads to stress, disengagement, and ultimately burnout. By embodying heedfulness, individuals in positions of authority can cultivate a culture of well-being and mutual support, where each person's contribution is respected. Creating mindful spaces. Building communities of awareness begins with creating spaces, both physical and psychological, that allow individuals to connect mindfully with each other. These spaces do not need to be elaborate or require huge resources, they simply need to be intentional and supportive of mindful engagement. In our homes, we can foster mindful spaces by setting aside time each day for shared activities that promote connection, such as family meals, walks, or creative pursuits. These moments of shared presence allow family members to feel heard, understood, and supported. Likewise, workplaces can set aside time for mindfulness practices, whether through group meditations, mindfulness breaks, or team-building exercises that encourage deep listening and empathy. Even within our cities, mindful spaces can be cultivated. Community centers, parks, or local cafes can become venues for mindful activities, where people gather to meditate, share, or simply be present with each other. These spaces act as havens from the relentless rush of modern life, offering people an opportunity to pause, reflect, and reconnect with their inner selves and with others. Mindful communication. At the heart of building communities of awareness is mindful communication. In a society that is increasingly polarized, where online debates often turn hostile, practicing mindful speech is more crucial than ever. Mindful communication involves speaking with intention, listening deeply, and responding with empathy. In conversations, it is all too easy to be swept away by emotions, assumptions, or distractions. But when we practice mindfulness, we are present with the person we are speaking to, fully engaged in the conversation, and attentive to the words and feelings being shared. This allows for deeper understanding, reduces conflict, and fosters stronger connections. Mindful communication also extends to the digital realm. Social media platforms have become the new public squares, but too often they are breeding grounds for misunderstanding, division, and hatred. By bringing heedfulness into our online interactions, taking a moment to reflect before posting, choosing words that promote understanding and respect, we can transform these platforms into spaces of constructive dialogue and mutual support. Collective mindfulness in action. While individual acts of heedfulness are powerful, collective mindfulness is where the real magic happens. A community that practices mindfulness together can build a culture of care, empathy, and shared responsibility. In a mindful community, members are more likely to support one another through difficult times, share resources, and work together toward common goals. Take, for instance, the concept of shared mindfulness in the context of social issues. A community that practices mindfulness can approach challenges like poverty, homelessness, or environmental degradation with greater clarity and compassion. Mindful communities understand that these issues are not isolated, but interconnected. Through collective awareness and action, they can address the root causes of social problems, rather than just the symptoms. For example, a mindful approach to environmental sustainability doesn't just involve individuals recycling or using less plastic. It involves communities coming together to create long-term, sustainable practices, whether through supporting local agriculture, advocating for green policies, or developing more eco-friendly technologies. By practicing mindfulness, a society can align its actions with its values, creating a more harmonious, sustainable world for future generations. The role of heedfulness in global challenges. Building communities of awareness isn't limited to personal development or local projects, it extends to global challenges as well. In a world plagued by inequality, climate change, and social unrest, the need for mindful, collective action is critical. Heedfulness can play a vital role in transforming our responses to these issues. Consider climate change. A mindful approach to environmental issues requires a shift in how we view our relationship with nature. It involves recognizing the interconnectedness of all living beings and the impact of our actions on the planet. Mindful communities can advocate for policies that promote sustainability, reduce waste, and protect natural resources. In this way, heedfulness becomes a tool for addressing some of the most pressing global challenges of our time. Similarly, in the fight for social justice, heedfulness can guide us in responding to issues like racism, inequality, and human rights violations. By cultivating awareness of our biases, listening deeply to the experiences of marginalized groups, and engaging in compassionate action, we can work together to create more equitable societies. Mindful communities are those that do not look away from suffering but instead move toward it with empathy, seeking ways to heal and transform. Real-life application. Cultivating communities of awareness. To build communities of awareness, we need to start where we are with our families, workplaces, and local communities and take intentional steps toward creating spaces of mindfulness. Here are a few practical strategies for fostering mindful communities. Start small. Begin with yourself. Cultivate mindfulness in your daily life and allow it to ripple out. Practice mindful listening with your partner, children, or coworkers. Share your experiences with others and encourage them to practice mindfulness as well. Create mindful gatherings. Organize activities that promote connection and reflection. Host a dinner where everyone shares something meaningful or a meditation session in the park. In the workplace, start meetings with a moment of silence or breathing exercises. Support mindful causes. Identify social or environmental issues that resonate with you and engage with them mindfully. Volunteer with organizations that promote sustainability, social justice, or community well-being. Approach these causes not with a sense of urgency or anger, but with patience, compassion, and a clear sense of purpose. Encourage mindful education. Teach mindfulness to children and young people. Schools, after-school programs, and community centers can integrate mindfulness practices into their curricula to help the next generation develop emotional intelligence, resilience, and empathy. By focusing on building communities of awareness, we can transform our personal lives, our relationships, and our societies. Through mindfulness, we become agents of change, creating a ripple effect that nurtures peace, understanding, and connection in every corner of our world. In today's fast-paced world, many of us are confronted with challenges that can feel overwhelming: climate change, economic instability, political division, and social inequality. The complexity and scale of these issues can make us feel helpless, disconnected, and even desensitized to the world around us. Yet, amid this turbulence, there is a simple yet profound tool that can help us cope with these challenges, live meaningfully, and create a sense of peace and purpose in our lives: heedfulness. Heedfulness, often referred to as mindfulness or awareness in modern terms, is the practice of paying full attention to the present moment, without judgment, while acknowledging the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things. It's a concept deeply rooted in Buddhist teachings but is incredibly relevant to the complexities of contemporary life. The practice of heedfulness enables us to recognize and respond to life's challenges with wisdom, clarity, and compassion, rather than reacting impulsively or unconsciously. As we navigate the challenges of today's world, heedfulness provides us with the ability to confront adversity without becoming consumed by it. In this chapter, we'll explore how heedfulness can guide us in dealing with global and societal issues while also improving our personal well-being and relationships. We'll look at how to incorporate mindfulness into our daily lives, making it a tool for navigating the overwhelming nature of modern society, and how this practice can help us lead a life that is both fulfilling and meaningful. Navigating global challenges with awareness. One of the most pressing global issues today is climate change. The rapid pace of environmental destruction, the increasing frequency of natural disasters, and the growing awareness of ecological imbalances can leave many feeling anxious and powerless. For many, the prospect of a future shaped by climate change feels overwhelming. Yet, heedfulness offers a way to engage with this issue mindfully and constructively. Instead of reacting with despair or detachment, heedfulness encourages us to confront the reality of climate change with awareness and purpose. It urges us to become more mindful of our own consumption patterns and to take responsibility for the impact we have on the environment. This can mean simple, everyday actions such as reducing waste, conserving energy, and supporting sustainable practices in our communities. But heedfulness also extends beyond personal action. It helps us develop a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. By cultivating awareness of our relationship to the planet and each other, we are more likely to take collective action that can address global issues. A mindful approach to climate change also means being aware of the systemic causes of environmental harm, such as corporate greed, unjust policies, and overconsumption. It means having the clarity to understand how these forces work and the courage to advocate for change. Heedfulness empowers us to become part of the solution, not only through our own actions but by engaging with others in creating a more sustainable world. While we may not be able to single-handedly solve the issue of climate change, we can practice mindful living to reduce our personal contribution to the problem. We can also use our awareness to advocate for systemic changes that prioritize the health of our planet and its inhabitants. This shift in perspective allows us to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, fostering a sense of hope and purpose despite the enormity of the problem. Social and political division, finding common ground. Another significant challenge facing contemporary society is political and social division. Whether in our personal relationships or on a global scale, the divisiveness between groups with differing views has created a polarized society. It can be easy to become entrenched in our own beliefs, to see those with opposing views as enemies, and to feel frustrated by the inability to find common ground. Yet, heedfulness can help us navigate this fragmentation with empathy and understanding. Heedfulness encourages us to listen deeply to others, without judgment or the need to respond immediately. By slowing down and giving others the space to express their views, we can begin to understand the underlying concerns that drive their beliefs and actions. This deeper listening fosters empathy, which in turn helps to bridge the gap between opposing sides. When we are fully present and engaged, we are more likely to respond with kindness rather than react with anger or defensiveness. A real-life example of this is in the context of political debates. Rather than focusing on winning the argument, heedfulness allows us to engage in conversations that seek understanding rather than division. It allows us to hold space for different perspectives while maintaining respect and compassion. When we approach political and social divides with this mindset, we can create spaces for dialogue, reconciliation, and collective problem solving. In our personal relationships, heedfulness can also help us cope with the pressures of social division. When we encounter conflicts with friends or family who hold different views, mindfulness helps us navigate these difficult conversations with grace. Instead of becoming entrenched in our own opinions, we can use awareness to observe the emotions that arise within us and respond with patience and open-mindedness. Through heedfulness, we can also shift from a mindset of us versus them to one of we are all in this together. By recognizing the shared humanity in others, we can move beyond division and towards cooperation and mutual respect. This doesn't mean we abandon our values or beliefs. It simply means we engage with others in a way that fosters understanding and common ground, even in the midst of disagreement. Coping with personal and societal pressures. In addition to global and social issues, many individuals today face the pressures of modern life stress, anxiety, work overload, and a constant bombardment of information. The need to constantly keep up with technological advancements, achieve success in our careers, and maintain personal relationships can often feel overwhelming. In such a fast-moving world, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters and to feel disconnected from our own well-being. Heedfulness provides a powerful antidote to the stress and exhaustion that often accompany modern life. By becoming more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can begin to recognize when we are overstretched, when we are operating on autopilot, and when we are disconnected from our values. This awareness gives us the ability to make conscious decisions about how we spend our time and energy. One of the first steps in applying heedfulness to personal well-being is to cultivate self-awareness. Take time each day to pause and reflect on your mental, emotional, and physical state. Notice when you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and observe the thoughts that arise. Rather than reacting immediately to these feelings, give yourself the space to simply observe them without judgment. This practice of mindful observation allows us to respond with greater clarity and composure. Another way to apply heedfulness in daily life is through mindfulness practices such as meditation or mindful walking. These practices help to center the mind, calm the body, and cultivate a deep sense of peace. Mindful living encourages us to slow down and pay attention to the present moment, whether we are eating, working, or interacting with others. By bringing our full attention to each task, we can reduce stress and improve our overall well-being. In the workplace, heedfulness can also help us manage the pressures of success and achievement. By practicing mindful time management and setting clear, intentional goals, we can reduce the anxiety that often arises from feeling overwhelmed by deadlines and responsibilities. Instead of multitasking, which can scatter our attention and increase stress, heedfulness encourages us to focus on one task at a time, allowing us to be more productive and less mentally exhausted. Real-life applications of heedfulness. The real power of heedfulness lies in its ability to bring about tangible, positive changes in our lives. When we practice mindfulness, we not only improve our ability to cope with the challenges of the world but also enhance our relationships, mental health, and sense of purpose. For example, consider a person who struggles with stress due to work and personal life demands. By practicing heedfulness, they can start to identify the moments when they feel overwhelmed and make conscious choices to slow down, take breaks, and prioritize their health. They may also begin to notice how their thoughts and emotions influence their reactions to stress, allowing them to break the cycle of anxiety and exhaustion. Similarly, in our relationships, mindfulness allows us to engage more fully with others, cultivating deeper connections and understanding. For instance, in a conversation, instead of thinking about what we will say next or getting distracted by our phone, we can be fully present with the person in front of us. This attention fosters trust, empathy, and compassion, all of which strengthen relationships and create a sense of connection and belonging. In terms of societal change, mindful action can lead to more ethical decision-making. When we approach the world with awareness, we are more likely to act in ways that benefit others and the planet. Whether it's choosing to support ethical companies, advocating for social justice, or volunteering for causes that matter, heedfulness helps us align our actions with our values, creating positive ripple effects in society. As we confront the complexities and uncertainties of modern life, heedfulness offers a way to cope, engage, and transform. It helps us become more aware of the world around us, make conscious decisions, and live in alignment with our deepest values. By practicing mindfulness, we can cultivate peace within ourselves, foster understanding in our relationships, and contribute to a more compassionate and sustainable world. In this way, heedfulness is not just a personal practice but a transformative force for global and societal change. Conclusion. In today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, the pursuit of happiness, peace, and a meaningful life often feels elusive. With the constant bombardment of distractions, the pressure to succeed, and the unceasing noise of modern living, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We can find ourselves caught in a cycle of stress, anxiety, and disconnection from ourselves and others. Amidst these challenges, the teachings of the Buddha on heedfulness provide a profound and timeless solution. Heedfulness is more than just a practice, it is a path to liberation, inner peace, and ultimately, freedom from suffering. Heedfulness, as described in the Dhammapada, is the key to transcending the endless cycle of birth and death, also known as samsara. It is the path to the deathless, nibbana, a state free from the turmoil and suffering that arises from heedlessness. In our modern context, heedfulness is not just about avoiding mistakes or being careful in our actions. It is about living with deep awareness, intention, and mindfulness, fully present in each moment. It means paying attention to the quality of our thoughts, words, and actions, and recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. The problem we face today is that heedlessness has become the norm. The distractions of modern life, social media, the constant drive for success, and the overwhelming flow of information make it difficult to remain focused and grounded. In a society that often values productivity over well-being and external achievements over inner peace, it is easy to fall into the trap of heedlessness, where we rush through life without truly experiencing it. This heedlessness creates a disconnect from our deeper selves and from the world around us. It fuels anxiety, dissatisfaction, and a sense of meaninglessness. To cope with the pressures of today's world and find lasting peace, we must learn to cultivate heedfulness. Heedfulness is the antidote to heedlessness. It is about slowing down, taking the time to be present, and reconnecting with our true nature. In a world that constantly urges us to do more, achieve more, and consume more, heedfulness invites us to stop and reflect. It encourages us to observe our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors with a sense of curiosity and compassion. Through this awareness, we can break free from the cycle of stress and discontent and start living in alignment with our values. One of the most significant benefits of heedfulness is its ability to reduce suffering. When we are heedless, we act impulsively, driven by our desires and aversions. We may react to situations out of habit, without truly considering the consequences of our actions. This often leads to regret, conflict, and inner turmoil. Heedfulness, on the other hand, helps us to pause before reacting. It allows us to respond to life with wisdom, compassion, and clarity, rather than reacting impulsively. By cultivating a mindful attitude, we can avoid the harmful patterns that lead to suffering and instead create a life of peace and contentment. In practical terms, heedfulness can be applied in many aspects of our lives. In our relationships, for example, it means listening fully to others, being present in conversations, and offering our attention and care. In a world where people are often distracted by their phones or preoccupied with their own thoughts, being truly present with another person is a rare and precious gift. By practicing heedfulness in our interactions, we build deeper, more meaningful connections with those around us. This not only strengthens our relationships but also fosters a sense of community and belonging, which is essential for emotional well-being. At work, heedfulness can help us manage stress, prioritize tasks, and maintain balance. It allows us to approach our work with a sense of purpose, rather than simply going through the motions. When we are mindful of our work, we are more likely to produce high-quality results, be more efficient, and experience greater satisfaction in what we do. Heedfulness also helps us avoid burnout by encouraging us to take breaks, set boundaries, and recognize when we need rest. In an era of constant busyness, heedfulness can be a powerful tool for cultivating a sustainable work-life balance. In terms of personal growth, heedfulness offers a path to greater self-awareness. By regularly checking in with ourselves through practices like journaling, meditation, or self-reflection, we become more attuned to our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. We can identify the patterns that no longer serve us and make conscious choices to change them. Heedfulness helps us to understand our own motivations and desires, giving us the clarity needed to make decisions that align with our true values. This process of self-inquiry leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose, as we begin to live in alignment with our higher selves. The practice of heedfulness also plays a crucial role in mental health. In a time when mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, and stress are on the rise, heedfulness provides a grounding force. Mindfulness practices such as focusing on the breath, observing thoughts without judgment, or simply being present in the moment can help us manage negative emotions and gain perspective on our difficulties. When we are heedful, we are less likely to be swept away by our emotions or overwhelmed by our circumstances. We can observe our thoughts and feelings with detachment, allowing them to come and go without becoming entangled in them. This ability to be present with our experience, without reacting or resisting, fosters a sense of inner peace and emotional stability. The impact of heedfulness extends beyond the individual. When we practice heedfulness in our own lives, we contribute to a more mindful and compassionate society. The ripple effect of one person practicing mindfulness can extend to their family, workplace, and community, creating a culture of care and attention. In today's world, where so much of our social and political discourse is dominated by divisiveness, anger, and misunderstanding, heedfulness offers a much-needed antidote. By cultivating awareness, we can engage in more thoughtful, respectful conversations and build bridges rather than walls. Heedfulness encourages us to see others as they truly are, without judgment or bias, and to respond with kindness and understanding. At a global level, heedfulness can help address some of the most pressing challenges of our time, such as climate change, inequality, and social injustice. When we are mindful of the interconnectedness of all life, we begin to recognize that our actions have far-reaching consequences. Heedfulness can inspire us to live more sustainably, make ethical choices, and advocate for a fairer, more just world. It calls us to take responsibility for our actions and to act with awareness and compassion toward the planet and all beings. Ultimately, heedfulness is a path to freedom. It frees us from the tyranny of our desires, our fears, and our habitual patterns of thought. It allows us to live with intention, rather than being swept along by the currents of life. It offers a way out of the endless cycle of suffering, leading us to the deathless nibbana, a state of peace, clarity, and liberation. In our modern world, where external circumstances are often beyond our control, heedfulness provides us with the one thing we can always control: our response to life. By cultivating heedfulness, we reclaim our power and our peace. Living mindfully does not mean withdrawing from the world or renouncing all desire. It means engaging with life fully, with awareness and presence, so that we can live in alignment with our deepest values. Heedfulness is not a lofty ideal reserved for monks or ascetics. It is a practical and accessible tool for anyone who wants to live a more peaceful, meaningful, and happy life. Whether we are navigating the challenges of our daily lives, building relationships, managing our work, or seeking personal growth, heedfulness is the key to finding true peace and fulfillment. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, heedfulness offers a steady, reliable path to peace. It encourages us to pause, breathe, and be fully present in the moment. It teaches us that by living mindfully, we can navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and clarity. When we cultivate heedfulness, we open ourselves to the possibility of a life free from suffering, a life where we are truly alive, fully awake, and deeply connected to ourselves and the world around us. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's reading and found it inspiring. We look forward to seeing you next time as we continue our journey through the teachings of the Buddha. Your presence means a lot to us, and we can't wait to share more wisdom with you. Until then, take care and stay mindful.